Welcome to the True Stories of World War II podcast, where the stories are true and about World War II. I'm your host, Holden, better known on the internet as True Stories of World War II. I got a couple of guests today. My first one is the infamous Blacksheep302, Eric, and of course, Milcert Mariner with his dark, anonymous screen. It has been a while, folks, since we recorded one of these, so bear with me. We got to shake some cobwebs off. Black Sheep, got anything to say?
Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Milcert Mariner, any opening remarks?
No, I'm just happy to be here. It's been a minute since I've been active on my account. I've got some content coming out soon. I've been keeping it kind of on the DL for school, but I'm happy to bare my head from my cave for a little while.
Well, at least a picture of your head.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of what I wanted to talk about in this podcast is anybody who's familiar with my page has definitely noticed that there's a very big change in the amount of content coming out. I went from posting every day to maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. And, my reasoning is a lot like yours. I mean, I'm so busy with school and I, I was able to post a lot with school last year, but the way that classes have been online and it's just a lot of work. And I can't always find that hour to make a post every day right now, even though I'd really like to, and sometimes it's longer than an hour. Sometimes I don't know what I want to post about. So I got to hit the books and try to find something interesting. And then that takes a while. And then I get down some other rabbit hole, it is what it is. But I miss it. I miss the comments and engaging with people. And yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I literally just fly by the seat of my pants. If you've ever watched any one of my videos, you realize that I just make shit up as I go. It's a whole lot less stressful that way. And if I screw up, then I could care less. I mean, I make the mistakes and I look like the asshole. So when the end user tries to repeat what I did, they don't end up looking like this asshole did when they don't make those same mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate feeling like I'm letting people down, like people really like the content and it's just not coming out right now,
I really don't think you're letting people down. That's not the I don't think that's the general consensus from the community. I don't think you're letting anyone down by taking time to take care of yourself and do what you need to do for you. You haven't turned off, tuned out, and gone away.
Right.
You're just readjusting to your world. I don't think that's letting anyone down. I mean, I've missed seeing you around, but I know why. So it's not like, and I know I could throw you a text just about any time and you'd answer it, but listen, you got shit to do it.
Right. And that's the tough part for me is, I was doing Instagram like darn near full time for 6-7 months. And, everybody has these grand ambitions, you think you're going to make it big and you think it's all going to be worth your time. And then you're like, I got to pay bills. Like, this is not paying off. And I don't know. That's like that whole, like, being realistic with yourself, maybe someday we'll get that magic post where things take off. But in the meantime, I got to pay rent and eat. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
go. I'm sorry.
I mean, all you got to do, like what I did. So over the summer, I wasn't supposed to be in the country. I was supposed to be at sea for 90 days, but COVID happened, so I had to stay stateside and work. But I ended up putting out a lot of content that I never intended on making. And whenever I had to go back to school, I kind of felt the same way as you. Like, I wasn't really worried about it, but at the same time, I was just like, this is what I have to do. And I just made a post on my story. I'm like, I'm not going to be posting for a few months because I have more important, like my actual life to focus on. And then quite literally just pulled the plug and went from posting every other day and then posting like on my story all the time to posting the occasional picture on my story and then just, doing nothing else on that account.
Yeah, mostly it's redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's either the redacted pictures or just pictures of the local landscape. A lot of landscape pictures.
Yeah, I want to be honest with you. I mean, when I went through my whole battle with Instagram, it took a lot of the wind out of my sails. You know, like I was banned for a week. I couldn't do anything. When I just didn't come back as strong as I would have liked to. You know, that was really tough. And then going back to school and starting a new job. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd really like to come back at it with more force, but I need to add a eighth day into the week to do it. You know.
Yeah, I guess I kind of get lucky that I've got the time in between things that I can pull something up on my phone that's already there. I've got stacks and stacks of pictures in my albums that I've just taken over the years and over time, and just get a burr up my ass and just go out in my garage and just stage up shit. And then that'll be my post for the day. Or I wake up like I did today. You know, I had a day off and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go talk about 1903 and 1908 pocket hammerlesses because why not? Just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I miss. I really miss having the huge wood pile that I had, and then just putting something old on top of it and taking a picture of it and then posting it.
Yeah, you know, and that's part of my issue I'm having right now is I'm a history major, but the history I'm studying right now like isn't super relevant to World War II. I mean, I'm studying humanitarian history, which obviously it has some tie-ins. Like when you talk about um, like the Holocaust and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I've been studying is like pre-World War II and UN stuff from post-World War II, a lot of like legal documents, and it's just not super relevant. I mean, it is a little bit, but it just doesn't get into like the details about the things that I'm really interested in. So it takes a lot of energy to be dealing with that stuff. And on top of that, I mean, I have 4 other classes. So
You know how I got around that? I didn't finish college.
yeah.
I think I'm taking 8 classes right now. Some of them don't have some of them are creditless classes that are just legally required things for me. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff to deal with, especially when some of it's online and it's not scheduled. It's just a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I feel that. I have 5 for 17 credits, which would be a lot if I was just going to school. But I'm working about, I don't know, like 28 to 30 hours a week on top of it. It's crazy. I mean, I'm managing, but I don't have days off anymore. I have days when I don't have school and work. But yeah, it's nuts. I mean, I mostly try to get my hours in on the weekend when I don't have scheduled classes, but it is what it is. I need to be working and paying bills. I don't know how many people listening are veterans going to school under the GI Bill, but if you are, man, you got to be careful. Make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's because, man, that the monthly BAH payments are just not sufficient. You got to, you need to supplement your income. That $1,700 a month isn't going to
I
cut
don't know
it.
what you got.
You saw.
Uh,
Sorry, I've got like 4 things going on in my head.
oh, you're all right. It's this lovely world of Zoom, and everyone is social distancing. And that's the other thing that's been wearing on me is just like we've been grinding at this pandemic stuff since like March, and being an essential worker now, it's
Is that even still a thing? Because I didn't even know the word essential worker or the term essential worker was still a thing. I
yeah.
guess maybe in my state, nobody really cares anymore because pretty much everything's open.
Well, we're still getting hazard pay, and we still have to wear the masks at work all the time. And I've gotten used to it. It doesn't bug me so much anymore, but I don't know. It sure bugs me when I see customers that have them like down over their mouth. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're technically wearing it. Congratulations. Like,
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to wear it right. If you're not going to wear it at all, then don't even bother. Just don't look like an asshole.
yeah,
See, what I'm doing, yes, I have to wear one sometimes. I mean, there's certain places that I'll go that I totally understand the concept of wearing it because the environment that I'm going to be in, there are people there that are very apt to getting sick because they already are sick. And then there are times that I don't have to come into contact with a single soul. So it doesn't make a difference to me if I'm wearing one or not. So I'm not going to walk around outside looking like a schmuck with a mask on. So it's like idiots that wear them while they're driving in their cars with their windows up. Why?
yeah,
So I'm very selective about when I wear one. I don't really care one way or the other. I
I mean, up,
understand the concept behind it, but gee, I'm sure glad I took all that nuclear, biological, chemical training all those years ago just to find out that a little paper mask is going to save me.
I mean, up here, like, we'll get in big trouble if we, well, I don't know about big trouble, but there'll be some ramifications if we're like not wearing masks outside and stuff, which is really dumb because like I'll be walking down to the ship to stand my watch at like the middle of the night and I won't wear a mask and it's like, it's outside, it's fine. But then I'm walking to class whenever most people have online classes and stuff and I'll have to wear one just because the sun's out. It's so stupid.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's some states for you. I mean, my state is not really too bad. I mean, we don't really have all those. Yeah, we have our fair share of the mask preachers, but for the most part, not so much. I mean, I haven't run across any. I mean, I've been given a couple cross-eyed looks every now and again, and I'm just kind of like, hi, we're within
Yeah,
6 feet, or whatever, or we're in that social distancing range. I guarantee I can cough further than 6 feet, but hey, whatever.
yeah. It is what it is. I don't want to out myself where I work, but uh, the mask thing is pretty serious. Yeah, you're not even supposed to be coming into the location, and I pretty much accepted that being out in the public in a retail environment around people 30 hours a week, probably gonna get the coronavirus eventually. It's kind of just like a matter of time, the amount of time I spend around like random strangers. But it is what it is. We're probably all gonna get it eventually. So
Or we may have already had it
do. Put on your
before
tinfoil
anyone
hat.
even before anyone even knew what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I get a sniffle now, I'm like, here it comes. I'm like, I had the worst migraine ever yesterday, and I'm like, this is it. This is the end. Like,
Yeah. I just take a couple of allergy pills and a Sudafed, and I'm good.
yeah, it's already cold here. It's like 35 degrees outside.
We just had a wicked, like out of nowhere, it started raining, and then within like 3 hours, the trees were all snapping.
Oh yeah, you
And
showed the picture of the one in your yard.
yeah, half of the state was without power. Now we're down to like maybe 15 to 20% of the state are still without power.
That's
I
weird.
Yeah, well, that's the state for you. I mean, we don't really get a lot of snow, but welcome to the ice storms. Lots of tornadoes, lots of high wind, lots of ice. That's what we get.
Yeah,
It's either hot or it's icy. I mean, it'll be December and it'll be 65 degrees, and then the next day it'll be 20 degrees and driving snow, and then the next day it'll be 75 degrees. So you just don't really worry about buying really cold weather clothes and you're going to wear them all the time because you'll be wearing shorts in December.
yeah. The weather here is odd too. It gets really cold, but in like September and October, it'll snow, and then it'll get back to like 60, and then it'll snow again, and it won't actually get cold till like December, January for like permanently. So
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about here is that it's an all year riding state. I mean, you can literally ride all year. You'll just be certain times of year that you're not going to ride. For like last week, it was just raining and icy for 3 days, 4 days. So yeah, riding was out of the question. But today it was 65 degrees. So yeah, bike got out. And then all next week it's going to be 60s and 70s. So yeah, the bikes are going to be out.
We're at the point up here in central coastal Maine where the weather's kind of getting to that kind of funky cold, not cold stage, where it doesn't really warm up throughout the day. It'll start at like 40s in the morning, and then for some reason in the afternoon it's in the 20s and flurrying snow.
Yeah, but that's weird. That's weird weather patterns. My sister lived up in Connecticut for the longest time, and she would complain about that. It was warmer at night and in the mornings than it was during the day and in the evenings. And then just snow would come out of nowhere.
It's so gray up here too. Like we didn't see the sun for like 5 days last week. It was insane.
all
I'll tell
right.
you the
It
worst.
also the sun also sets at like 4 o'clock here.
I know everybody's enjoying our weather conversation, but maybe we can switch back towards history.
You want me to tell you the history of the barometer?
No.
Oh God, no.
That sounds
I could, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah, well, we'll save that one. That sounds nail-bitingly exciting.
When we get to stories of weather of World War II, we'll talk about that.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Oh goodness.
All right. So what's on the horizon with you guys? What's your projects you're working on?
Honestly, I had one of our fellow groupies ask if I should start a YouTube page because I don't want to ask that question. And it was pretty it was pretty well voted on, and it was a overwhelming majority. I mean, we're in the 90s of like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So I'm thinking that's where I'm going to go and do that too, with the same zeal and energy I bring to my Instagram stories.
Same for refined and practiced content. Okay.
Yeah, seat of the pants. Don't give a shit. If you screw up, just keep going. Let it all hang out. Let people see you for who you really are. I don't ever want to be accused of being one of those guys that cut, paste, and copies and edits to make everything look pretty, because that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I screw something up, by God, I'm going to let everybody know I did it. Because
That's the cool thing about posting pictures with one sentence captions. It gets the job done. No one can accuse you of being wrong.
What's on your horizon, Milcert Mariner? What are you working on?
Right now I'm working on finishing out this semester of college so I can go home, take a deserving break, build a new rifle, and then just hang out in the snow with some obsolete technology.
I like that thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my short-term goals are pretty similar to yours. I got to push through this semester. Or I'm just over halfway done, and I'll get to winter break and hopefully have a little bit more time for at least a couple of months or a month and a half there. And sounds like my spring semester is going to be online again, which it is what it is at this point. It'll be my fourth semester online. And, it's frustrating. I didn't move across the country to one of the best schools in the history schools in the country to go to school online, but,
Yeah, and still pay the same amount of money for it too.
I was going to
Actually,
say,
I think you're paying more.
I was going to say that I'm paying out-of-state tuition to go to this school in Maine, and I'm paying a lot of money my most challenging class, the teacher just decided that he wasn't going to teach it, so he just posted a bunch of videos for us to watch, and then we have an exam on certain days. So I'm paying a lot of money for that class, not to mention all the other classes I have. That's a real kick in the pants.
I don't have to worry about paying for mine, but everyone else should worry about it as American taxpayers who are paying for my tuition. That you're paying for online classes.
Don't
There,
get me started on college.
and I'll be honest with you. I mean, some of them are decent. Some of them were made to be taught online, but some totally weren't. You know, some totally weren't. There's no. You get this problem like you do on the internet where you can't tell people's like sincerity and context when they say things online, and like people say stuff in class and just come off as like incredibly rude, but it's not really what they meant. But you don't get like the facial expressions, or it's
Yeah,
tough.
you can't. It's just like in a text message, you can't impose emotion and context into a text message.
Yeah.
There's a lot missed through text messages.
It's definitely weird learning how to, like navigate 1,000-foot ships and, secure containers and stuff onto ships over the internet. Like usually these classes are done in person and actually on ships that we have. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of catch-up work I'll have to do.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm studying like data based, like library based history. I haven't been in the library since like March 3rd. Like that's kind of rough to be a research historian that isn't doing research. Well, isn't doing book research. I've been doing plenty of research, but I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, I hate to cut this short, but I'm gonna bounce. I got to go eat dinner.
That's all right. Hey, it was great to hear from you, Black Sheep. We'll catch you next time.
Oh yeah. By the way, next
See you later.
month we're gonna be doing the live feeds from the gun show.
Sweet. We'll have to catch you there.
So yeah, and I mean we're gonna be doing full on. I'll try and cover as much of the show as I can, and we'll probably run into a few people over there, but so I'll keep my eyes open for your stuff. I'll see you guys here in a little while. Hold on, I'll talk to you later. Mariner, take care of yourself, and remember, Pensacola class battleship heavy cruiser would be the best thing to go around the world in.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I only say that because I was never in the Navy, never had to deal with that life. I just think it would be cool. If I think for like 15 minutes, and then I'd probably get tired of it.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time, Black Sheep.
Adios.
Adios. All right. And then there was two. I don't know how much you want to keep pushing here, but we can talk for a couple more minutes if you want.
All right. So what do you have up on the docket for your stuff? I know you've kind of been sticking to I don't know, the Holocaust related stuff on your page. How much more of that stuff are you gonna do?
Maybe a little bit more. The reason there's a couple of reasons I've been going towards that stuff. Well, one, I took a trip down to Dallas and went to the Holocaust Museum down there, and it's one of the better ones in the U.S. I think the one in D.C. is probably a little better, but I enjoyed this one as much as you can enjoy Holocaust Museum. That seems like the wrong words, but I found it interesting.
They're definitely interesting. The DC one's the only one I've been to. And that one hit particularly close to home because one of the names of one of my family members who didn't leave Poland in 39 is in that one. Now it's definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to get out DC at some point. I've never been at the Smithsonian either, so.
I've only been to the American History one, and it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't know when that's gonna happen. Maybe in a year or two. There's actually a plane that I'd like to see that's like mid-restoration. It's not gonna get put together for a couple years here, so maybe when that gets done.
I can't remember what it was, but I can't remember the exact name of it, but the part that I remember most about Smithsonian American history is there's a complete, it was in mud for a long time, so it got preserved. The wood on it got preserved really well, but there's a gunboat from the American Revolution that it sunk from a single cannonball being put through the hull. So it's like a 60-foot single-masted vessel, but it just sunk and got covered in mud for a couple hundred years. And they pulled it out of the mud, and it still had all the cannons and all the decking in place, and they have the whole ship in the museum. And really the only big part that still remains in my memory, just because it's at the time it was my favorite event to study, and it was a tangible thing that I could actually see.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? I was always interested in the American Revolution, but it just seems like a million years ago to me.
Yeah, that's what got me started on my, I was never really into history until partway through middle school, and then I got really hooked on the American Revolution and then the Napoleonic Wars and stuff, and I kind of stuck to that up until a couple of years ago when I realized that I could get my hands on actual pieces of equipment that aren't absolute relics, and that's when I started to learn more about more modern military history. Because before, my main focus was naval conflict of the Napoleonic age, and there's not really a lot of physical things that you can connect with. But World War I, World War II, that kind of stuff, there's a lot of physical things out there that are available to help you understand it better.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Smithsonian is the dream job for most historians, but I mean, I wouldn't want to live in DC for one, and I think you'd be competing with a heck of a lot of people for those jobs.
Yeah. No, DC is going to be a place that I stay far and away from if I have the choice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's consistently on top of lists of places you don't want to live.
Yeah.
I mean, they have huge gang problems in DC, which sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Look it up.
Yeah, political parties suck.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about those gangs, but fair enough. Yeah, part of me is really worried about next week with the election coming up. I mean, I could care less who wins. Either way, I think they're both equally inept. But
Right.
I'm
I mean,
worried.
we're shafted either way. And honestly, I've been off in my own little world and totally forgot about it until my absentee ballot showed up in the mail.
I don't know. I think it does whoever wins, it's gonna be bad. I think if Trump wins, I feel there's gonna be riots in the streets again, and if Biden wins, I think Civil War II might pop off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way, an event's going to happen that's going to make me regret selling off all my night vision stuff.
Wait, this year has been one for the books, man. I'm telling you.
Definitely.
We make it through 2020. You can make it through anything.
Exactly. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if a new month got made just so 2020 wouldn't end.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess part of it's felt like it's been December forever because I work in retail and the Christmas stuff went up in September, beginning of September. Man, it's been Christmas in there so long. I feel like Groundhog's Day. It's 120 days of Christmas.
Right. It's about that time of year again whenever the same Mariah Carey song plays over and over again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hate Christmas music too with a passion.
I don't know, man. There's some really good Frank Sinatra stuff out there.
Yeah, I'll listen to the Johnny Cash Christmas album. That's about it. And once a year.
Once a year. Yeah, that's understandable.
That's the fill,
Yep. Christmas music is acceptable from December 23rd to December 26th.
That's how long I feel a Christmas tree should be up too. And I know people that have them up year round.
Yeah. I mean, especially, well, they don't stay, well, the real ones don't stay fresh for that long either. I don't know. I grew up in a place where everybody had a real Christmas tree, and there were people who left them up until they were brown, and just terrible. Because they start to dry out within a couple days because, it's a dead tree.
Yeah, I don't know. The holidays are going to be interesting this year. For one, I'm probably going to work most of it, and I don't know if I'll go home for Thanksgiving because it'll be like I'll like go home on Thanksgiving and then come back on Thanksgiving, and it's like maybe a 3 hour drive to where my family is, which isn't a big deal, but it's not a real uh, exciting day. I'm gonna spend more time in the car probably than I will there.
Yeah, I mean, I have final exams throughout Thanksgiving week, um, which is fun.
Yeah, and then like there won't be any big family Christmas this year. I don't got like elderly grandparents and stuff, so I
Yeah,
doubt a bunch of people are gonna get together. And I'm probably the last person they want there, considering I see 1,000 people a week. Like,
right.
so yeah, I don't know. I really hope this stuff starts to blow over at some point. It's getting to be pretty terrible. I count myself lucky. I haven't like had anybody close get real sick. I mean, I know people have gotten sick, but not like really sick. So.
Yeah, there's been a little spike in the cases in Maine, but I think it's been relatively low here.
Yeah, it's been spiking here too, but I mean, I imagine it has a lot to do. It's too cold to do anything outside here, so
Yeah,
people
exactly.
are going places now, and I mean, it's just gonna get worse. Honestly, the cold. It's gonna be 20 below here in January, and there's people aren't gonna sit in their houses forever.
Yeah. I mean, people say that it's going to get better after the election, but I don't know if it will at this point.
Yeah, I don't. I guess we'll see next week. Part of me is really terrified about the election.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe it's next week already. Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like I don't even have like a horse in the race. I
Yeah.
I hate both the candidates
Mhm.
passionately,
Yeah, same.
and my libertarian self isn't even crazy about the libertarian candidate. So
Well, the libertarian candidate, I can't remember what exactly she said, but she made a huge clown of herself.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I just want to be left alone. That's my political views. I'm kind of past libertarian. I just want to return to traditional values and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd like to stop getting taxed out the wazoo, and
Yeah.
I'd like the government to streamline the VA. Like,
Yeah.
if you could figure those two things out, I'd be pretty good.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to get a 62% income tax either.
No, I don't know. I sit down and like do the math on some stuff. Like, what if we had free education and free healthcare in the U.S.? Like, what would our taxes look like?
Right. But also, do you want the same people who run the VA to run your health to run everybody's healthcare?
No, dude,
Yeah.
I have I've like screamed until I had no voice at people at the VA on the phone because they're just so lost. And when the VA is paying your tuition and they don't pay your tuition and like then you can't register for your next semester's class because you're $7,000 behind for the last semester. You've done everything you need to do and you're like, hey, you want to like pay for that education you promised me? That'd be cool.
Right. I mean, I know guys here who came here straight after the Navy, after getting out of the Navy, and they're planning on doing their college career in 3 years instead of four. And now that we're getting set back with not, or they can't do it in 3 years, so all of a sudden they're going to have to produce enough money to pay for it for a fourth year. So kind of everyone's getting shafted.
Yeah, man, I'm still trying to do school in 3 years, but I mean, I'm taking 17 credits right now, which is crazy. Like I shouldn't be. But um, yeah, I don't know. But I came into college with over a semester done already, so it's not that impressive that I'm doing it in 3 years. I went to summer school this past year, which is a whole nother story. I went to summer school thinking that the VA was going to pay my living expenses for the summer, and they paid partial for 2 months and not at all for one of the months. So that was fun. It put me in a really bad financial spot, and it's part of the reason I had to go back to working. I I wasn't prepared to not get paid for a whole month.
Yeah. I mean, I came out of high school with pretty much an entire year of college credits under my belt. But the way that this school works, we don't take a lot of actual well, not actual. We don't take a lot of traditional college courses. So while a lot of them did transfer and the credits transferred, I'm still going to be here for 4 years. And then the Navy stuff I'm going to start doing next year is going to help pay for that. But as of now, it's all out of pocket.
Yeah, I'm gonna still probably be here. I'm finishing up my second year. I'll probably be here 2.5, maybe 3 more because I'm going hopefully right from my bachelor's into my master's, and I'd like to do that in like a calendar year, so a summer, a spring, or summer, fall, and a spring, like in 1 year, but 3 semesters. But we'll see. I like everything's on the table right now. Like it's hard to make any life decisions with the state of the world.
Yeah.
Like I keep extending my apartment lease because I don't know if I want to find somewhere else. Like I don't know if I'm staying here. Like
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that.
everything feels so uncertain.
Yep.
But it is what it is. We persevere, and the days keep going by. It's the crazy part to me. It's like this all really kicked off in like March, and March was 8 months ago. Like,
Yeah. I mean, 8 months ago, they also said it would only take 14 days to flatten the curve, but here we are.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to be like, well, if everyone would have stayed home for 14 days, it would have been over. Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how that makes me feel.
Yeah. No one knows anything anymore.
I'm just happy you can buy toilet paper again.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. It's a nice thing to have.
It's nice not having to saw paper towel rolls in half.
Yeah. I hadn't gotten there, but I got close.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I almost started reloading 303 with black powder instead of smokeless.
That is desperate.
That was about the furthest I got.
I haven't bought ammo. I don't know in a while because for one, it's not available, but two, I haven't had the money, so the ammo shortage hasn't really affected me all that much. But I have quite a bit stocked up too if I really needed it. But I haven't. I've probably was shot 4 times this year. Like,
I mean, whenever I built my new rifle, I fully intended on, breaking it in with a couple cases of steel case, just trash ammunition to break it in. But the only stuff I could get was 50-round boxes of fairly nice stuff. So I only have like 500 rounds through it, which really sucks because that's nothing to really judge a new build off of.
yeah, I don't even know if I put 500 rounds through anything this year. It's just been weird. I have to like drive quite a ways to go shooting here if I don't want to shoot indoors. I'm not crazy about indoor shooting.
No, neither am I. I'm still trying to find a range up here because my guns right now are 2,000 miles away from me. I'm trying to find a range up here that's not indoors. 'Cause apparently, I don't know, I got real spoiled with being able to shoot out on just completely open, uninhabited land. Going out east, there's a lot more indoor ranges, and people actually live out here. So land isn't quite like it is out west.
Yeah, yeah. I was spoiled there for a while too. I had somewhere I could shoot whenever, but it's been a couple years now. I haven't. It, it's all right. It keeps me from blowing through ammo all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I didn't have a whole lot planned for this one. I just wanted to catch up with you guys and see who
Yeah,
dropped
no,
in
it was awesome. Yeah.
and hopefully give people a little sense of where I went and what's going on, and maybe they don't feel so in the dark.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was great talking to you. It was great talking to Black Sheep too. Um, I don't have a whole lot to say at the end of this video other than there's more stuff coming. It's going to be coming slower than it used to, but it's still coming. I'm trying to figure out ways to get more content out. It's not going to kill me to do it. So a lot of that is going to involve doing research in advance. So it's not like, oh, I need to get a post up and I'm scrambling in my little break that I have. So that's on me to try to figure that out. But
Yeah.
I'd really like to improve the rate I'm getting stuff out. We're not going to get back to a post every day probably in the near future. I'm sorry if I've hurt anybody's feelings there, but life happens, I guess. It wasn't really my intention. I went almost 6 months with daily posts, but I'm just too busy and not motivated. Any closing words for us, Milsert Mariner?
No, I mean, just keep up the good work whenever you can. It's all about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I learned that I do, instead of doing like, a post every day, my 2 or 3 posts a week, it's been a lot better for me mostly because I can make better content and it just ends up working better all around.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. We're working on quality, not quantity. As always, send me your messages. I'll respond. Like, subscribe, comment. Go follow Milsert Mariner and Black Sheep. Go look at their past content. Look at my past content. Throw us some likes. You don't have to sponsor these videos, but it'd be cool. Send me a comment or a message if you'd like to sponsor. You get a shout out, maybe some stickers. We'll see what we can work out. Until next time.